Disruption occurs when an established industry is taken by surprise by something completely new. Another key factor is that convenience and simplicity is always a major reason why disruption occurs.
So the game industry is really undergoing a revolution right now, which can be summarized in 2 words, and that's an audience explosion. If you think about the current game consoles today, each platform reaches tens of millions of users, whereas social networks reach close to 1 billion users.
In the old days being only a few years ago, consumers had no choice but to pay for games in large dollars at a single shot. And today, the biggest disruption is that you can actually play games for free and have to pay only in chunks of 99 cents or even less.
There's lots of disruption occurring in the game industry. I mean, back when I started in the industry, the big disruption was doing really great graphics, in those days 16-bit graphics. Today, disruption is, in my opinion, there's many different disruptions occurring. One of the biggest is that games today are part of social media, and that you're playing these games with sometimes thousands of people, or you could be playing with thousands of people around the world, not just your best friends in your neighborhood.
The big change in the game industry is that gamers used to care about playing the game for themselves. Now they want social interaction, and a much larger audience cares about that, and that's where your new audience comes along for disruption.
One of the big disruption is the barriers to access to games are dramatically lowered. We've gone from very complex barriers to almost no barriers in a very short period of time. Social games are free. Social games are one click away from the experience, and they're monetized through virtual goods.
Today, companies can put smaller parts of a game up on a social site and let the audience decide whether it's worth pursuing or not.
We are embracing the fundamental nature that's not changing in games, and that's to make games fun, first and foremost, and creating those high-quality experiences that users can learn to share with their friends. One example is in Restaurant City, a game where you set up a restaurant with your friends. This game is free to play, yet monetized through virtual items. So in this game alone, 30 million items are sold every single day, from ingredients to recipes to furniture for your restaurant. This is really what's fueling the social gaming ecosystem. It's the sharing and buying of those virtual items.
So let's take a look at one of our companies, Crowdstar. It became known last fall for a virtual aquarium game called Happy Aquarium. And in Happy Aquarium, you can have a full virtual aquarium as a consumer that has fish in it, that swim around, that you can feed and take care of, and make your aquarium beautiful by adding nice props, coral reefs, adding multiple fish. Ultimately, consumers can have the same experience as a real-world experience through a game that's emotionally satisfying at a disruptive price point.
So Moonshoot is causing disruption in games because we're taking great video game techniques and technology and we're applying it to a very difficult thing, teaching English to children that don't speak English. But what we're doing is really fun for them. They're again solving problems while they're learning words, learning vocabulary, learning phrases, learning grammar, and they advance through the games that we're doing by learning. Behind the scenes, we know every word they've learned, we know every phrase they've learned, and we then know how to dynamically adjust the game so it doesn't repeat too much what they already know and puts new content in to help them continue to learn.
The game is no longer an end in itself, it is a means to an end. So the games need to be really simple, really engaging, games that you know that all of your friends are capable of playing, and that gets you motivated to engage with your friends. MMA Pro Fighter gives you a chance to create your own ultimate fighter in mixed martial arts. And what could be more fun than beating up some of your friends? And MMA Pro Fighter is disruptive because it's a completely different kind of game. This is the type of game that a few years ago the game industry would say, oh, that's not a game.
I think it's throw away the design book is the biggest lesson, and learn to make mistakes and try to change design. The next couple of years are all going to be about fundamentally changing what games look like and how they're experienced. So at Playfish, we design games for friends rather than for gamers.
Video games used to be hardcore gamers like me. There were nerds that couldn't get a date on Saturday night. The real revolution here is that everybody, billions of people, are going to play games.
Dealing with disruption of the gaming industry, you have two choices. The first choice is go with it, cannibalize your own current business model, and adopt a new one. The other is resist and see your existing business model slowly go away.